we're all in lockstep with you that the BBC either was intentionally playing with people or wanting to hurt people or just didn't view the N word as a serious offense, which is absolutely insane. But as someone, Jumaane, who's admired you for a long time and interviewed you a bunch, and I've seen your physical tics before when we've had conversations, I've never heard you auditorily like say anything in that sort of tick. Can you take us just a little bit through your journey and what those ticks were like? And then you talked about the cost, how working on them can create a cost for people. I'm curious about that.
So interestingly, before I was diagnosed, my mother saw a 2020 special and she said, "I think this is what you have." And I told her, "No, I don't." Of course, she turned out to be right. But at that moment, it was interesting. There was a white gentleman, an older gentleman, well, older then, he's probably my age now, but his tick was actually the N-word. And I remember hearing him talking about it, and he augmented it. And so he would go nickels, pennies, and dimes to try to not say that word. But the best way I could describe a tick is like an itch you have to scratch, or a sneeze is going to come out. So he would say nickels, pennies, and dimes to try to get the auditory tick out without the word that's socially unacceptable, rightfully so. After I got diagnosed, I actually used that. And so one of my first loudest auditory tics, I had other ones, but was a-hole. I don't know if I can say it here, but so people would hear me say ah, and I would say the rest really, really quietly. As I grew older, my tics mostly went from what was predominantly auditory to what you call motor tics, which is where you see the body movement. But I still have some auditory ones. Actually, I'm actually ticking right now. You may not hear it. Quite actually, I was actually ticking the N-word. But when I can, I try to do it either very, very softly. I try to say the word very quickly, or I will wait until I'm in a space by myself and let it out. And so the cost can be, if you hold it in, it's going to come out, and it comes out much worse, much more ferociously later on. So there is a cost that can come to that. So that's why I always talk about there should be empathy, but that has to go both ways. So if I'm in a library, I don't think I should just start screaming and ticking if people are trying to study. I also want people to understand what's going on. So at that moment of time, maybe I can step out and try again. Maybe the library has a space where I can be and do what I need to do and study as well. So I think there are some different things that can be considered. What is frustrating to me, it seems when it comes to Black folks in particular, that care is not given. And so that's what's frustrating when I saw what I heard about at Bafta. There was not care given to those two actors in the way that could have been with simple tools.